Hello there, I'm Scotty, and you're not. And back with the Amityville horror franchise, taking a small, short little break for two other reviews, or one wrestling review where I was kind of inebriated, and then the booking one. But we are back, and we're with the Amityville Curse. And I just have one question. I just have one, the teeny tiny question. What the hell was this movie? I mean, what in the hell was this movie? What? I'm trying to figure out, like, what this movie has to do at all with the Amityville horror. It's a movie about a haunted house. It takes place in Amityville, in Amityville, New York. Amityville, Long Island, New York. But it's not the same house. Different house. They briefly mentioned the DeFeo murders. Other than that, there's no connection. The curse comes from a confessional booth that the priest was murdered in. The confessional booth was put down in the basement of his house, and all these years later, 12 years later to be exact, these people move in and are haunted by a supernatural force. I don't understand this movie at all. But again, there are a couple actors I do recognize. The priest at the beginning of the movie is Jan Rubes, who I know from, he did in many things, but I know from D2, The Mighty Ducks, he played Jan. A stretch, I know. And then we have Kim Coates, who has been a bad guy in a lot, if not all, of the stuff I've seen him in, so kind of figured him from the beginning as the villain, spoiler alert, but they don't even really try to hide it. Like, this character, he has like a tragic past, but he's trying to forget it, and so something happened. I don't know, but then it's I assume he's possessed. From what I read on Wikipedia, he's possessed by the spirit of the priest's illegitimate child, I guess. But all signs point to that he was the one who committed the murder. So I'm not even sugarcoating this. It was so easy to figure out Kim Coates was the killer. Like, they do so much to point it out to you. Like, the scene where the old lady gets killed, you see someone's arm wearing a white sweater. The very next scene, when the cops show up and they're all talking to people, Kim Coates is wearing a white sweater. He didn't even change his shirt. And they end up recognizing him by his shoes. And they point that out to you, too, because the cop or whatever is like, can you please stop smoking? Quit smoking around me. So he throws a cigarette down, and he smushed it. The camera focuses on his foot, smushing the cigarette. And he's like, I'm going to go upstairs. I'm like, well, if you're going to go upstairs, why did you just keep smoking and go upstairs with it? Because we had to see the shoe to notice later, Just saying. And then what I caught on is that the dog goes nuts on him trying to attack him, and I went, oh, it's him. Because they say dogs can detect evil spirits or something, He's possessed. And all these weird things start happening to Debbie, who's one of the characters in this. There's some spooky stuff, but it's mostly boring, this movie. It's mostly boring. There's a lot of talking. There's a lot of nothing for most of the film. There's some spooky jump scare moments, but not enough to even say this is... I mean, what? I haven't seen anymore after this, except for Remake and Awakening, which both, in fact, take place in the house, but this is where this franchise is going. I don't know. I got 3 more before we get to the remake, I think, right? So, no. Yeah, because I'm not counting the Amityville murders. But, yeah, 3 more. But, yeah, so this is not even an Amityville house. The house gets haunted because of a confessional booth. Is it the priest spirit that's inside the confessional booth, or is it evil? Because I really don't know. And if Kim Coates committed the murders before, does that mean that he's been possessed for 12 years and just so happened to be brought back to this house where the priest's confessional booth is? That's a bit iffy to me. And there's, I don't know, there's just I mean, are they trying to say that Kim Coates was the illegitimate child and he was a rancher? I thought it was a ghost. I don't know. Apparently this is loosely based on a book called The Amityville Curse, but I can't imagine. And the quality of this is not very good. It seems very made for TV, and if you look it up, it's an American-Canadian production, so there's the tax write-off. And also, the score for this, I haven't talked about the score most of these because there's really nothing to talk about. But this one, oh boy, this one seems like they got the greatest hits of the kindergarten class. I mean, I'm sorry, kindergarten's too much. The nursery room. It feels like someone took baby music. Ding, 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 ding. Like, why is it whimsical? Why is a soundtrack to this movie whimsical? It makes no sense to me, but meh. Again, there's not much to say about this movie. It sucks. Don't watch it. I'd say this is worse than 3, worse than the one with the freaking lamp. Yes, the lamp one was more entertaining than this one, because at least you had a lamp. At least you had that ridiculous ending with the lamp running away from holy water. But this one, boring. No, not moving forward. And then I did think like there's a cat in this, and they show a cat in this. I'm like, is that the same cat? Are they trying to connect? And I'm like, wait a minute, that cat was in California. They're in Amityville, so no, they're not. They just maybe someone was like, hey, there was a cat in the last one. Let's throw a cat in here. Cat is inconsequential, all things considered, but I don't know. So I'd say when it comes to this, it's not worth your time. Don't watch it. It's terrible. It's the worst one I've watched so far, and I saw one with the lamp and another boring one with Meg Ryan, but this is by far the most boring. This is by far the most dumb. It's just not worth your time. So, moving on next. Amityville, It's About Time. Something tells me we've gone from lamp to clock. I don't know. But what are your thoughts on Amityville Curse? Let me comment below. You should like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.